We haven't been down to Santa Ponsa for quite a while now, and so we thought it was about time we paid a visit to Santa Ponsa. It's February the 16th, February the 16th, 2022. So it is still out of season, though we're expecting the season to start early, but we can talk about that as we have a little walk. We're going to go up to the square and then we're going to come back via the coast. Should be a nice long walk this morning. We might stop for some refreshment on the way. So it is actually a beautiful sunny day. I'm not going to say it's hot, but it's pleasant weather for walking. Not many people on the beach. It is actually quite early. It's only 10 past 10 in the morning. You can see the skies are blue. There is a gentle breeze, and it's a cool gentle breeze. But I took my jumper off before we left the car. So now as we're walking along, it's certainly going to warm up. I think as we walk around, you'll see a lot of places are closed still, and that would be perfectly normal up until March, and so that's only a couple of weeks away. But in March we get a lot of things start to happen, and it coincides really with St. Patrick's Day, which I believe is going to be celebrated here in Santa Ponsa. In years gone by, Anita's brought the choir from school, and I've had my Leo club. Well, we just had a nice coffee at the Acapulco bar, and so we can now start our walk up towards the square. Someone asked a question on Facebook a few weeks ago saying, how long does it take to walk from the beach to the square? And several people answered saying depends how many bars you stop in on the way. Well, we've stopped in one, and we've only just started, so we'll see how long it takes us to get up there. So normally, as you're walking up on both sides, there's lots of shops, bars, restaurants. Just going past a bank, and most are closed at the moment, but they will be opening soon. Quite a famous one on the right there, McTavish's. It does have its live music. Past an Indian restaurant, all the tables set in there. I'm sure when they're opening later on, perhaps. Tabacos. So places now just getting ready. You can see there's lots of deliveries and empty boxes here. They'll be collected by the local council and do the rubbish clearing. That's all been put out. That will be cleared in the next few hours. And but it's deliveries to bars and restaurants. I've just lost Anita. Where did she go? I carry on walking. Anita stops at the shops. Typical. So yeah, the walk up to the square isn't very far. It's a slight incline. But it is quite nice, and you can see the trees have been trimmed, so the topiary is nice, and they provide a little bit of shade in the heat of the day. At the moment it's nice and cool, perfect weather for walking, and as we walk up, we just every now and again just get a little glimpse of the sea, which looks beautiful. It's a bit of a breeze though, so I think when we're walking down by the water, might get a little bit of wind noise, but hopefully now it's not too bad. Across the road we've got the pharmacia open. Martin, and then just coming up in front to Las Olas, which is down the steps here. Oh, you've got some noisy birds. It's the time of the year for migrations, so there have been some amazing murmurations of starlings going over our house and around the different areas. And where they actually settle for the night, it can get quite noisy, maybe even a little bit messy. So we no longer have to wear face masks as we're walking through the streets. You do still have to wear them if you go indoors, so do bear that in mind. You do need to have a little bit of a supply of face masks. Unclear really as to how long that rule goes on for, I don't know. I think the general public in Mallorca are reasonably happy with the situation. There are a few who are very much against face masks, but I think they are in the minority, at least when you look at the polls in the newspapers. Most people are quite content with the situation that we have at the moment. Take our lives into our hands and walk into the road. It's actually been quite a while since we've done this walk.
I'm sure you're going to make it up this hill, are you?
Apologies if I'm puffing and panting a little. We can do it there. With your encouragement, we can do it. I think in the summer this is quite a difficult walk actually, just because of the heat. In February it's quite pleasant. And you know, when you got to the top there, it's all downhill as we go down to the sea and walk along by the edge of the water. Another view here, looking down over the sea. I do record these in 360s. The 360s take a lot longer to produce. That's simply because YouTube takes a lot longer to analyze them, but they do give you far more opportunity to look around and view what you want to look at, rather than where I'm actually pointing the camera. You can actually see all around. I am a great fan of the 360s. So if you want to view those, you need to go over to our 360 channel. Same name, Stephen and Anita in Mallorca, prefixed by 360 VR, virtual reality. You don't need any special gear. You can watch them on your phone, you can watch them on the TV, assuming you've got an internet connection, of course, on your computer. Or if you really want to go the whole hog, you can use a VR headset, and that is wonderful. Just come up to Caesars, and we're approaching the crest of the hill, just 100 meters or so, and then we're on the downhill stretch. Starting to feel warm now. Quite busy with cars going up and down the road, and lots of vans and work people. Just approaching the top of the hill. Goodness. You can go a bit higher. Vista Club and Club Santa Ponsa are up to the right, but we're going to head down to the left here, which takes us directly to the square. The square is a place where there's been live music in the past, so all the chairs would be set out. Obviously they've had issues over the last 2 seasons, or non-season. Now things are getting back to normal. Were big questions about what's going to happen in the square, whether they're actually going to have the live music or not. And the feeling was no, so I don't know if anyone's got any information on that.
Butcher's there.
Being past here, Gastro Carne is a butcher's shop. It's a regular butcher's. But it's only the middle of February at the moment. I think in another 2-3 weeks we'll have to come back, and I think we'll see a lot more places open as we get into March. And the sun's on my back. It's getting very warm. And Anita's taking her gloves off. It must be getting warm. Coming up now to the square. Cross over the road. And there is a notice board at the entrance, which is looking in a sad state, which is probably 2 years old or 3 years old, that is, which has got the events that go up there, but not really very clear whether anything is actually going to be going on. So again, it's been a week or 2 since we've been in the square, and they were working on it at the time, and it looks as though they're continuing to be working on the square. In fact, they're doing some quite serious working on the square. Looks as though they've retiled. I'm just going to have a walk around. All the bars are closed at the moment, so it's ridiculously early in the morning, and it's totally off season, so you don't expect to be anything open. But here's the Bar Prince. Aquí no.
No puedo.
Aquí.
Por ahí, ahora sí.
Muy bien. Walk on these tiles. So just getting past the crown. And this one is actually stacked high with chairs. Pound stretcher. Gin fizz. Titbits. Coltswell. I'm probably not going to pronounce some of these things right, I don't know. There's the square. Some tables and chairs out here, so somewhere open. At least open later on. And just in front we've got the Caledonian, but above that is the Santa Ponsa Community Church, where Anita did in the past bring her choir once. And if you want to make a telephone call, there's actually a telephone in there. I don't know if that still works, but got an English telephone box. I'm guessing that telephone boxes like that have all but lost their use. And here's the stage, just walking behind the stage. So the big question is it going to be in use during the summer? Be a shame if it's not. All remains to be seen. But lots of noise, lots of workmen working away. This will be ready, I'm sure, when the season starts. Pool tables will need a little bit of a clean up, I think. The Irish Rover, crispy cod. So we're going to make our way out of the square and then down to the, I'm going to say promenade, but it's not really a promenade, it's a walkway that goes by the sea, but I don't think you'd ever call it a promenade. It's, in some parts it's a little bit dangerous.
Scramble.
So we'll have a look to see if any work's actually been done, but I very much doubt it. In some parts it is a little bit tricky. But it's pleasant to walk by the sea and the views are beautiful, so if you can, it's worth the effort. So we just cross over the road here. Just in front we've got the Hotel Jardin del Mar. You can imagine there's some wonderful views from the other side there. We take this path just in front, and the whole thing is a little bit rickety. There's the stones missing, so you just need to watch your footing as you go down. And it is quite steep.
See any caterpillars in the trees, aren't
Now we're at this time of the year, February. Two things in nature happen in February in Mallorca. One of them, they're both unpleasant actually. So one of them is the pollen. So the pine trees, which Mallorca has an abundance of, shed their pollen, and so right now we'll start to get this fine dust which falls from the trees, gets blown from the trees.
Can I just say one nice thing, all these beautiful flowers at
They're beautiful.
this time of year.
Yeah, and as we go into some parts, the ground's covered with those. It just gives that lovely yellow coloration. But the pine dust gets everywhere. It'll get through any little nook and cranny, get into your car, into your house, into your clothes, and not very pleasant at all. And if you've got any allergies, obviously, then it can also be an issue. But the other thing that's also associated with the pine trees are processionary caterpillars, and the moths nest in the trees, and they produce these cocoons which are full of caterpillars, which around this time of the year, February, towards the end of February, the caterpillars start to come down from the trees, and they make processions. They actually look quite sweet, but they are dangerous. In fact, can be deadly dangerous, particularly to animals. If a dog gets one and eats it, and they can die. Even for us, they're really unpleasant. They're going to cause quite nasty rashes, and anyone who's got an allergy to those sorts of things quite often end up in hospital. So if you see a procession of hairy caterpillars, you need to keep your distance. The recommendation is to burn them. Just put some alcohol on them and set fire to them. And I'm sure you'll find some environmentalists who say, no, you can't do that, but actually it's the only thing to do. It's the hairs that are dangerous, and if you do anything else, the hairs get into the atmosphere, and we or animals might be breathing them in, so much more dangerous. We're getting closer now to the sea. A little bay here, which in the summer people will go down and swim by the sea. And you can see it's not perfectly calm. We don't feel any wind here, but I think as we go round past the bar at the end, we'll find, in the swimming pool, we'll find that it's a little bit more windy there. So we're going to get some wind noise. Just listen to the sound of the little waves on the pebbles down there. Sound I never tire of. So the swimming pool here, it's nice and clean. I'm going to walk around it, walk into the sun. Don't usually do this. So, swimming pool's been kept very nicely, and the warning sign there tells you not to go in certain hours, because that's when they add the chlorine tablets to keep the water nice and clean. Photo time. So we've just stopped for a photo, and just in the distance over there you can just see a sea wall. That's the entrance over that way to the Club Nautico, the Marina, and it's really well hidden. You can't really see it at all from here. There's a nice little marina there, and then just on the top of the hill we've got the cross. Not on a hill, it's just on a hill over the sea, and sometimes we do the walk there, so we can walk all the way from there round down into Santa Ponsa. So Anita's now sending the photograph worldwide. We walk now towards the beach along the non-promenade. So during the lockdown area, lockdown during the pandemic, and we did have a really bad storm which totally blew this bar here on the ground floor in. Windows were smashed in. It's all been repaired now, and I'm guessing they're going to be ready for the new season. I can already see a couple of beer bottles on the bar there, so we're having some refreshment. So the area where the damage has been done, there's actually a sign down there saying attention, danger, and it does actually say prohibited to walk along there, but it's not actually across it. I don't think you can actually put it across because it would fall into the sea if they did. We're going to take our lives into our hands because we're going to go across that. Shall we? We've done it many times before and we've not fallen into the water yet, so...
You can swim if you want to.
I'm getting warm, but I don't think I'm that warm. There's no time for swimming yet. So there is a little handrail here. It doesn't look a very sturdy thing. It's better than some I've seen, and it is relatively new.
Be careful.
But as of here, there is no handrail. So I will be careful, just take my time, going down one step at a time, keeping my eye on what's in front. So I think maybe at some point they have actually tried to stop people coming this way, but the sign's fallen foul to nature. Been so oxidized, so rusty, the sign's fallen apart. So yeah, it is a little bit tricky. You have got a wall that you can lean on, and once you pass this, it's okay. This path has been like this for the 2 years we've been doing this walk, and how long before that I don't know. But we come out now and it's fine now, walking all the way back to the beach. It's a pity that Costa or the Ayuntamiento or whoever's in charge of that doesn't actually do something about it. The poles here, they're not trees, they're just poles, and they're waiting for their hats to go on to make the sun umbrellas, and then there'll be sun beds, sun beds. And this will be a sunbathing area, so walking this little part will not be very easy in a few weeks' time because there'll be sunbeds here in the way. But this is a really quite nice walk. I really like walking here right close to the sea. You do have to watch where you're walking, and sometimes the waves do splash up over the rocks there, over the concrete. And we're now directly in the sun. Just feeling quite warm. I thought it was going to be quite windy here, but it's not as windy as I was expecting. Step down here. Various ways of getting down here, that's one of them. A lot of steps there, so not for me. Just go back up. In the water. It's funny, I don't know, I always associate ducks with fresh water, but here we get a lot. We do like to swim in the sea. Don't see why not. Oh, it's come out just for us. Come to say hello. wants feeding.
This bar was open last time he came, wasn't it?
It was. Step over the wall here, and here you can see some more damage that's been caused by erosion, where the promenade has actually just fallen away because there's nothing underneath to support it. Not too difficult to repair that really, they just need to fill it with some rocks and then concrete it over. I do think the government, council, hostels, whoever's in charge, could and should do something to make this a safer place to walk. Swimming pool here, been just left. It goes green if you leave it and don't put any chlorine in. But the ducks seem to be happy. Have a little swim in there. It won't take the pool maintenance people long to sort that out. What they do is they throw a load of chlorine in there, and then they switch the filters on and they filter the water, and within just a few days that's all nice and clean. Yeah, so this one was open, but they're now taking a well-earned break. That's Olas, I think, is where we actually stopped for a coffee on one of our walks. I've tried to stop for a meal, but it was so busy, every table was booked. Well, they're having a well-earned holiday now, so I think we're going to have a really busy season. At least reading the newspapers, they're predicting a boom in travellers to Mallorca. And it actually has already started. The German tour operator, TUI, has already started bringing German tourists here, and we were out in Playa de Palma last week. Not sure whether we noticed a big influx, but certainly we saw places getting ready for tourists and hotels getting ready. And the other, our side, this side, well, Santa Ponsa gets a few tourists from Germany. I was corrected actually when I said German tourists. It should be tourists from Germany, because obviously all the people that come from Germany are not necessarily German, they can be any nationality. And so a British watcher to the videos corrected me, and I do stand corrected. They are tourists from Germany, and he'll be over soon. Peguera is the other place that tends to attract a lot of tourists from Germany. But the British tourists are also starting to come as well, and the hotels in Palmanova are already starting to open. Some have already opened this last week, and some are opening over the next week or two. And in March quite a lot are opening, and then Easter, bang. And they're still talking. The hotels want a 9-month season, the government wants a 9-month season, so let's have a look to see if they actually do that, and then they can all recoup some of the money that they've lost during the last 2 years. We're looking forward to Easter because we've got our 2 daughters and their families are coming over here to Mallorca for Easter, so there'll be a big family gathering. and we think that actually for an hour or two we might have the whole family here. Our son is planning to go to Holland for Easter, but there's a short time when they're all on the island, so try and get that big family photo, which is always elusive, to get everyone in the right place at the right time. And we're almost back to the beach. Some work has been done along here. The walk seems to be nice and comfortable. The decking looks in good condition. So when we were walking on the Playa de Palma, we actually saw quite a lot of people on the beach. Not so many on the beach here, in fact hardly any. But people were actually sitting on the beach sunbathing, and there were people actually swimming in the sea. We don't seem to have any of that here.
It's a Wednesday though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a Wednesday. Weekends are always going to be a little bit busier because Spanish locals like ourselves go out for a walk at the weekends, and particularly for the water sports, whether it's on a jet ski, on a paddleboard, a windsurfer. They're all things that happen a lot at the weekend. There's work going on in the bars here, you can hear the noise. And I hope the wind noise hasn't been too bad this time. A little bit calmer than I expected. But a really nice walk. It's getting warm now. It might be beer o'clock.
What time is it?
It's only 11:15. But we've had a nice long walk, and it's, well, I usually have a shandy, I don't have a beer. We just stopped because we bumped into our former dentist, who's now retired, Frank, and catching up on 7 years of history since he retired, and really nice guy, nice to speak to him. And, just coming round to where we started now. A lovely walk this morning.
Are you really going for a beer?
It's nearly 11:30. So the question is, do we stop here for a beer, or do we go somewhere else for a beer? Oh, decisions. Actually, I can't see a bar that's open at the moment. We need to walk a little bit further. Last look out over the beach. They've got all the fencing here. This is just to protect the sand from blowing away in the storms. But they will be taken up when the season starts, and there is actually quite a lot of seaweed on the shoreline that also gets cleaned up. The beach is actually looking in very good condition. We haven't had so many of the bad storms this year, this winter. Although it is only February, and there could still be one to come. We've had a really nice walk in Santa Ponsa today, and we're going to go and do a little bit of shopping, I think, and we'll perhaps have a coffee or a beer later on. But that's it for Santa Ponsa. Thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye for now.
Bye.